Lie until you die. That's the motto for the trial of former DeRidder Mayor Misty Roberts in Louisiana. The trial continues today and the rest of this week. We're going to talk about it with a little bit of morning coffee, where we actually drink coffee and we talk about real crimes and real criminals, and not just silly, salacious stories to generate ad revenue for a public channel. That's right, you lie until you die. How many times have predators over the years lied until they died? How many boys and men are bottling up these stories, never talked about, never disclosed? They've lied to themselves. They've lied for predators. They're refusing to testify, as possibly we haven't seen the victim in Mayor Misty's case yet testify. But we did have her ex-husband and her son and a DoorDash driver testify that he delivered emergency contraceptive Plan B pills at 2 o'clock in the morning to Mayor Misty's house. We've got witnesses at this teenage house party where former Mayor Misty is making out with an underage kid, is drunk, and ends up sexually abusing one of the victims or one of the kids. Everybody witnessed it. It's the talk of the town. Everybody knows about it, and a bunch of people are covering it up. Who would have thunk it in the female pred complex in the state of Louisiana, where corruption and cover-up and lies run the show? And that's what's happening right now in the second trial of former Mayor Misty. Mayor Misty's first trial was thrown out because of a technicality. Judges have been removed. It's gone to an appeals court ruling. There's been a lot of drama back and forth. Rather than take responsibility and accountability for the obvious, clear evidence that's in this case, her ex-husband testified in court that she admitted to the abuse to him, and her son testified he saw evidence that she committed sexual abuse against the victim in the case, who again hasn't testified yet. Are they saving him to the end, or is the victim even going to testify? We don't know, but we are going to go to the news report for what happened over the weekend.
The trial of former DeRidder Mayor Misty Roberts continued today. Good evening, I'm Brennan Brown. KPLC's Devin Cruz joins us live from DeRidder with what happened in court today. Devin.
Yeah, Brendan, ultimately we heard from 3 total witnesses today. I'll go ahead and
Devin's been all over this case.
Because they've had so much content that they talked about. It's all I can really fit in right now. So we'll start off the top. Roberts' ex-husband, Duncan Clinton, took the stand this afternoon and testified that Roberts told him directly that she had sex with the minor and that their kids had caught them in the act. Clinton says he talked to their son, who confirmed it. Text messages shown to the jury revealed Duncan Clinton advised Roberts to deny everything on the day she had a city council meeting as acting mayor.
Deny. This might not be the Epstein trial. This is the Misty Steen trial and cover-up, where we've got a husband of a female pedophile accused of abusing a kid. I guess these husbands don't act like a lot of the wives hopefully would when they are revealed that their husband's having sex with a young girl, and they're cutting it off. Hopefully they're leaving. They're calling the police. No, not in the pred complex in Louisiana. We're covering up. We're lying. We're denying.
He also texted her that he, quote, played dumb and denied it after local city councilman and current mayoral candidate Danny Reynolds called him about the alleged incident. Roberts texted Clinton, quote, I need you to deny it, please. Earlier in the day, Roberts' lifelong best friend Jill Weaver took the stand. She admitted to discussing keeping the alleged incident from police and texting her son, quote, we lie till we die.
We lie until we die. That's what other friends of this female predator.
Weaver also described the night of the party as, quote, a lot. It was chaos, and testified that at one point Roberts talked about wanting to harm herself. The defense today worked to challenge the credibility of two of the witnesses, pointing to Clanton's interest in an ongoing custody battle and the previous conflict of interest issues with Judge O'Neill, who was removed from the case by the Louisiana Supreme Court. They also highlighted conflicting statements among multiple witnesses who've now testified. And that was only just two of the three witnesses we heard from today. The other one is one of the friends who was at the party at the night of the alleged incident. Now, Judge Savoy says we will be taking Sunday off, but we'll be back here Monday morning. Again, if you want a full story, if you want the breakdown, if you want that third witness, you're going to have to look for that on our website. It's not up there right now, but we will have it up shortly. But for now, reporting live in DeRidder, Devin Cruz, 7 News.
We're also going to I'm going to quickly go through some comments that were posted on my channel thanks to a viewer named Crystal. She had notified this channel, us, that Brandon Roberts was recently sentenced to 40 years in prison for similar crimes. That's right. Mayor Misty's brother was charged with and now convicted of these crimes. Let's take a look at that news article.
Brandon Lee Roberts, brother of former Mayor Misty Roberts Clanton, has been arrested on child sex charges. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Agnes Durweb. According to the Beauregard Parish Sheriff's Office, 39-year-old Brandon Lee Roberts was arrested on charges including 3 counts of first-degree rape, sexual battery, indecent behavior with juveniles, and obstruction of justice. 7 News has confirmed he is the brother of the former DeRidder Mayor Misty Roberts Clanton, although their cases are unrelated. Clanton was officially indicted October 1st on charges of carnal knowledge of a juvenile and a misdemeanor contributing to the delinquency of a minor. She resigned from her mayoral duties at the end of July. She was arrested in August by Louisiana State Police.
All right, and we're going to read Crystal's comments. Shout out to Crystal for feeding us some really good information. Apparently, the secretary of the fire chief in DeRidder was the best friend. She was the one that made the statement, "Lie till you die, baby." And everyone knew that she was engaged in this behavior, Mayor Misty was, and what was going on. Everyone knew, open secret. Of course, everyone's so cowardly nowadays with this kind of stuff. They're so scared to report. They don't want to be uncool. It's, it's like... You're uncool. You're weird if you actually call this out. That's right. Peyton Shire's method. The boy is weird because he kept on his phone evidence of you, Peyton, sexually abusing him. But the boy is weird. 17 employees from the DeRidder fire station walked out and resigned. The son testified, and he actually saw his mother. Imagine that. Saw your mom sexually abusing a teen boy. And so now we're going to go read some of this article that was written by, he's following from KPLC reporter Devin Cruz. Devin Cruz, thank you for following this. Ex-husband says, yeah, she directly, after covering it up for her, now the ex-husband is saying, no, she did tell me that, she had sex with this juvenile. And my son told me that he witnessed them having sex. Clancy testified that Roberts asked him to call the victim's family on her behalf to gauge their reaction. That's right. We see a lot of this. Brittany Zamora's husband, Mr. Zamora, trying to gauge that reaction of the family of the victim. Again, I haven't seen a lot of male predators wanting to contact the victim's family because I'm sure they're going to know what the reaction is going to be, right? It's going to be reported if I don't, it's wood chipper, supposedly. Tough American dads allegedly say all the time, but we rarely see it in real life. Text messages between Clanton and Roberts were also shown to the jury. On the day Roberts had a city council meeting in her role as acting mayor, Clanton sent her a message reading, "I would deny," this is her husband, "I would deny what happened if you're approached by anyone at the meeting." So again, husband covering up for wife's sex crimes. I mean, she cheated on him. She molested a kid. She's the mayor, and husband is doing anything to help cover it up for Misty Steen scandal. Clanton, the husband of Mayor Misty, also testified that another council member who was running for mayor had called asking about the alleged incident, and he played dumb. I'm just trying to guard them for the rest of this week until we can get out of town. And then Misty texted him back, hey, I need you to deny it, please. He testified that while he wasn't necessarily denying the incident to people, he had been avoiding the topic. He said he would not lie. So then he's telling her to lie, but he won't lie. Changing his sort of experience on what happened. Roberts wrote, I can't keep hurting others, friends and family. Lord knows I've done enough. But she's done enough. But the only thing left to her to do was to take accountability for it, plead guilty, not put the victim and the community through absolute hell. And even if the victim, doesn't even want to be involved in this prosecution, as is the case with most of these, Lord knows I've done enough except do that one thing. Take responsibility for your criminal conduct and accept whatever punishment society, but you're not used to it, Mayor Misty. And I understand that. You're not used to it. You didn't think that you'd ever get caught. And if you ever got caught, you'd think that the victim wouldn't support the prosecution. And here we are. And he may not, but there's a trail of evidence and witnesses. A teenage member, the third witness of the victim's friend group, took the stand. He testified that the victim appeared drunk and tipsy the night of the party. He also testified that the victim vomited. He said Roberts was talkative and dancing. He said he witnessed Roberts flirting with the victim and dancing on him. He testified that Mayor Misty's youngest daughter came into her son's room that night and told a group of kids that she saw Mayor Misty, her mother, and the minor making out by the pool. Afterwards, he testified that he saw Roberts and the victim having sex through a crack in the window. After the two came downstairs, he said there was yelling and a big argument that followed. The witness also testified that he was told he could not leave by two adults, Jill Weaver and Roberts. So we got another friend was at the party. Lie till we die friend is at the party too. Telling a kid that he can't leave. Trying to pin him down to make sure that he lies until he dies. His testimony, however, conflicted with other accounts from witnesses that were heard earlier in the trial. There was broader confusion among witnesses about who was on the stairs outside near the port. Hazy memories. Yeah, the elephant in the room is the abuse, but let's talk about confusion about who was on the stairs, who was near the pool, and what's going on in Robert's son's room that night. The defense pointed out the conflicting statements to the jury, noting that the multiple child witnesses had now provided accounts that did not align with one another. Defense attorneys also noted in a court that this witness was not interviewed by police, but instead by the process. And then over the weekend, Jill Weaver, who attended this party, takes the stand. Her Mayor Misty's lifelong best friend and former sister-in-law, and she was the state's first witness of the day. Her testimony painted a chaotic picture of the night in question and the days that followed, and included alleged efforts to contain the fallout, not cover up in Louisiana. Robinson introduced text messages exchanged between Weaver and Roberts, as well as messages from a group chat. Among the messages discussed was one sent by Weaver, the famous lie till you die. That's a mother telling her son, lie till you die. That's a mother covering up a pedophile to her son by telling her son to lie. That is parenting, supposedly here with Gen Zs and Gen Alpha being raised by examples of Jill Weaver. Okay? Not, I'm going to report and I'm going to immediately call 911. Not, we're going to tell the truth. we are going to do the right thing. We're going to provide objective evidence of the things that we saw and heard. I'm at this party for teenage kids. I don't know why I'm there, but I'm there, and here's what I witnessed. Not only am I there with a party for teenage kids where they're consuming a bunch of alcohol, Jill Weaver, but I'm going to witness all this conduct. And then I'm going to cover up for my best friend who just sexually abused a kid. And then I'm going to tell my own son that we lie until we die. Is that really parenting? That's what kids are growing up with as examples today? I thought, like, again, we taught, parents taught their kids to tell the truth and call out predatory behavior and, like wood chipper, like back to the wood chipper and all, right? We hate predators. In the real world, it's where we operate. Here is dark underbelly. We don't see any of that. We see exactly the opposite. Parents telling their kids to lie, parents covering up for sexual abuse, dads beating their boys because they were blamed for the sexual abuse, dads not reporting criminal conduct. That's what we see here. During questioning, Weaver, the best friend of Mayor Misty, acknowledged she likely told kids not to talk about what happened. Lie, don't talk about it. When Robinson asked, did you consult with him on how to keep the police out of this? Weaver said, probably. Weaver testified that as the two women discussed how to handle the situation of her being a predator and just sexually abusing a juvenile while still serving as mayor, Mayor Misty sent a text message in the chat reading, I hate this small town. That's it. Small town politics. It's not, I hate your own conduct. It's not, I'm going to take responsibility for the things that I did. I'm going to lie till I die, and it's this small town's fault. Earlier in the week, jurors heard testimony about a DoorDash driver who delivered emergency contraception to Roberts' home after the alleged incident. That would have been interesting to see that testimony. They also saw screenshots of text messages between Roberts and the victim's mother regarding pregnancy concerns. What's going on there? The mom of the victim is texting her son's predator about, let's get the contraception issue and pregnancy concerns off the table. Like not 911, not call the police, not you abused my kid, but more worried about the pregnancy aspect of it. Oh, good. If you're not pregnant, but you sexually abused my kid, everything's okay. It's good. It's good. Weaver testified she went to the party twice that night. Another party mom. Party moms. She arrived around 8 and said Mayor Misty was the most drunk she's ever seen her. Right now we're going to bring in the alcohol excuses. Adding she had been called to calm Mayor Misty down after an argument with Roberts' son. She left around 11 only to reappear at 2 a.m. where she found Roberts yelling and accusing her son of having a video of the alleged incident. So she's drunker than I've ever seen her, but so not drunk enough to forget or to, not realize that there's video evidence of the incident. So she's super drunk. Mayor Misty's the drunkest I've ever seen her, but she's sober enough to know that someone may have video evidence of her crimes. So even in that drunken state, some people are smart enough to keep track of everything around them, like Peyton Shires. You're weird, boy, for not deleting the evidence of me abusing you. You're weird. It's so weird. According to Weaver, Robert said, oh, great, you called your mom. Weaver said the boys showed her their phones to demonstrate they did not have any video. So the boys are having to cough up their phone now to get back and go home. Weaver, the best friend of Mayor Misty, described the scene as escalating quickly, testifying, "The whole night was a lot. It was chaos. No kidding. Your best friend just sexually abused a juvenile, and you're here to cover it up, and you're attending a party where there's a bunch of kids getting drunk, and you're feeding them alcohol and doing nothing about it, but covering up for your predator friend." She also said the situation took a more alarming turn, stating, "It quickly went from that situation into her wanting to kill herself." So I sexually abuse a juvenile, and then immediately when there's possibility that someone's got evidence of it, I'm now going to unalive myself. Weaver testified the following day. Roberts told her she had no recollection of what happened that night, none at all, and that Roberts' ex-husband was on the way to help sort things out. Of course, good cuck husband, fly over there and take care of your drunk wife who just sexually abused a juvenile and help facilitate the cover-up. And, it's not, forget that she's doing all this stuff behind your back or whatever, and be a good cuck and come help your predator wife cover this all up. During cross-examination, the defense attorney asked Weaver to confirm that Roberts had recently gone through an intense divorce, a custody battle, and lost a partner. Johnson also asked if she was certain that Robert had intercourse, and Robert said she could not be certain. However, during redirect, the prosecutor pressed Weaver on how she could claim to have no idea what happened between Roberts and the Meyer, given that she was aware Roberts had ordered Plan B. Robinson had asked Weaver earlier in her testimony to define what Plan B is used for. Well, the DoorDash driver could tell us at 3 a.m. Weaver also testified that investigators told her they could not identify her if she turned over her son's phone. Weaver also testified that investigators told her that they would not identify her if she turned over her son's phone. She later learned that was not true. She said the district attorney told her that she told her he did not know why investigators would have said that to her. Roberts resigned as mayor days before her arrest in 2024. This is her second trial after the first one ended in a mistrial when two Beauregard parish judges who had overseen grand jury proceedings were removed from the case, leading to her indictments being tossed. She was arraigned on the current charges earlier this month. And yes, that's right. Court is back in session today at 9 a.m. for the trial of Mayor Misty. That is a rundown of what's going on. Again, where's the victim in all this? Why don't we have the victim's testimony? Is the victim not wanting to talk about the abuse, does not want to put a predator in jail, doesn't want to be involved, as we've seen with most of these cases, where there's something about boys and men. They are shielding, deflecting, covering up repeatedly, maybe for their whole life. And they are lying until they die, holding that in of someone abusing them, holding a predator that escaped justice, doing everything that they can to lie about it, to not tell the truth, to cover it up, to keep it a secret, to protect someone that supposedly society hates. And so here is the time now. Hopefully a new generation is changing and things are coming forward and people are strengthened to speak about what's happening to them, that it may have been viewed a certain way when you were a kid, but as you got older, as you got wiser, more educated and understanding, and the fact that you committing the same conduct as you get older, as someone that abused you when you were a kid, society will not have any sympathy for you, as society should not have any sympathy for you. This is the Dark Underbelly, and we will continue covering Mayor Misty, former Mayor Misty of DeRidder, Louisiana,